Welcome back to the channel, my fellow theorists. We're going over part 2 of the Chaos Space Marine Codex. We're going to do the data sheets. There's a lot to go over in here. I'm just going to go over like the stats basically and what they're equipped with, and look for some keywords on some units and kind of just move along. Hopefully I can get through it quickly. I say it like in every video, I feel like. Yeah, so we're almost to 500 subs already. If you guys want to subscribe, please do. Thunderhammer the like button, corrupt it, whatever you need to do to it. Hit Nurgle's bell icon. Leave a comment, check out our other videos, all the pleasantries, and we're just gonna get right into it. Starting with Abaddon, the Despoiler. He's the same stat line, I think. He's move 5, T5, 2 up, 4 up, 9 wounds, leadership 5, 4 OC. Holy shit, I didn't know he was that big. He's got the Talon of the Emperor still. His Drakian I don't think changed, so it's still dev wounds and 3 damage at AP 4. His ability here did change a little bit, so he still has the thing where you pick his War Master ability. His Dark Destiny also changed, we'll get to that. But he has different War Master abilities. So the one to give a, what is the first one? Is a reroll the hit roll. That's anything except for damned units, so things like cultists and stuff get reroll hits anytime they make an attack. The Chaos Ascendant, that's going to give you a 4-up invuln for your infantry or your mounted only. Not damned units though, specifically, so it doesn't give it to cultists anymore. So, what are you gonna do? Then the last one here is that you can reroll Battle Shock and Leadership Tests. That's the Lord of Traitor Legions within 6 of him. So, he came down in points significantly. We'll go over points in just a second. He came down, but his abilities are a little bit weaker than they were before, I think. I don't play Chaos anymore. I sold my Chaos couple of years ago because I just don't think that they're very interesting. So I don't know. I don't know exactly if these changed. So his other ability though, the Dark Destiny, this used to go off on a 2+ every time you would make a Dark Pact. 2 up, you gain a CP. Now, each time it makes a Dark Pact and does not fail the resulting leadership test, if it was a 7+, you gain a CP. So much less reliable there. Although still in the realm of about 60-something%, I'm pretty sure, with on 2d6. So otherwise, his marks also changed. He doesn't have like every mark forever. He just has infantry character, epic hero, Terminator, Chaos Undivided is the important one there. And that's all you get. You don't get Tzeentch, you don't get Khorne, you don't get all 4 of the marks anymore. He's just Undivided. I just wanted to double check some of the points there, but yeah, Abaddon's gonna be a 295 point model for you there. I'm trying to think in what detachments he would be super duper good in. Plus 1 AP and Assault's not super great on him. He's not going to be great in Dread Talons. I don't think he's super good in Renegade Raiders. He's not great in Deceptors because you can't get this with Epic Heroes. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what detachment he goes into off the top of my head. Maybe Pact-Bound Zealots? Not sure. Not sure. I'd have to sit down and write some lists just to kind of get a feel for everything. Haarken, he's 90 points. Moves 12, as he's the same, like, you know, the stat line's the same. T4 with a 3 up, 4 up, 5 wounds, leadership 6, and OC 1. His ranged thing is a strength 8 gun. It's like an assault gun. That's pretty cool. It's actually got sustained hits D3 as well. His combat, I'm assuming, is the same here. Strength 5 AP 2 damage with 6 attacks. That's okay. Interesting with precision. And then he's got that 1 attack at strength 8. He can be attached to Raptors. Also, your Abaddon can be attached to Chaos, Terminators, and Chosen now. He wasn't able to attach to Chosen before, but he was able to attach to Legionaries, and now he can't. So, change there. Haarken World Claimer, though, attaches to Raptors. He can't attach to any kind of Warp Talons. Can't attach to Warp Talons. Alright, so this dude, he's got Head Taker. While he's leading a unit, each time a model ends a charge move, select an enemy unit within engagement range of this model's unit and roll 1d6 for each model in the model's unit that is within engagement range of that enemy unit for each 4+. You suffer 1 mortal wound. So I think that changed. I think it used to just be you get into combat, you roll for everybody, but now it's only guys within engagement range. Herald of the Apocalypse. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this model in the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase, if an enemy unit is below its starting strength, it must take a Battle Shock test. This ability cannot cause it to take 2. So he's just equipped with all this stuff. He's an infantry character. He doesn't really have anything super important. He is Undivided. Doesn't have grenades or anything cool like that. 90 points for that guy. Vashtorr is 190. He got a lot better. He is move 12, T10 with a 2-up, 4-up, and 14 wounds. Leadership 6, OC of 3, so pretty good profile for 190 points. 2-up, 4-up with 14 wounds right there is, and T10 with 12-inch move. Like, what? Seems good. His Claw is anti-vehicle 4-up and Torrent, so it's a Flamer that's anti-vehicle, strangely, and it is AP2. Vashtorr's Hammer, so it went up to strength 14 with 6 attacks and dev wound with anti-vehicle 4+. So this thing will definitely fuck up some vehicles now. 6 attacks, assuming you're getting, I don't know, sustained on something that's strong. That's going to be 6 hits. That's going to be 9 damage with dev wounds, or actually more. 9 damage plus another wound that you'll have to take an AP2 damage hit from. So not a bad little guy here. He is a monster. He is not a vehicle. He's a monster character, epic hero. He does a fly. He has Deadly Demise D3. He can also Deep Strike, and then he has Unholy Mechanisms. Friendly demon vehicle units within 6th of this model add 1 to the strength characteristic of weapons that the units are equipped with. So that's pretty good, because that's any weapon. Add 1 of the strength characteristic of weapons equipped by models in that unit. That's shooting, that's combat, that's great. So this and your Pact-Bound Zealots, not your Pact-Bound Zealots, your the Soul Forge one with you want your demon engines. He's going to be awesome in there. And then he has Reality Reorder. Each time an enemy unit within 18 targets him until the end of the phase, that model's ranged weapons have hazardous. So I actually didn't realize it had a range associated with it. I did, and now I'm realizing that that can be something you can get around. So everyone is very excited about this ability because it is really cool. If you just split fire and target Vashtorr with 1 weapon, all your weapons become hazardous in the unit. So just be 18 inches away from him when you shoot at him, I guess, which is kind of hard to do sometimes, just depending on where he's located. But if you can be over 18 away, you can actually just shoot at him and not even need to worry about this. So he's an epic hero, so he just comes with what he's got there, and that's what he gets for 190 points in your Soul Forged, whatever the hell it is. That's awesome. +1 to wound, +1 strength. One of the auras from the 3-inch thing, I forget exactly what that one does, but it's like +1 strength or something, right? Let's just double check real quick, because it's right here. Reroll the hit roll. So +1 strength, +1 wound, reroll the hit roll. Pretty cool. Cypher's 90 points. He moves 6. He's T4, 3-up, 4-up, 5 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. He's got his bolt gun, which is actually different than normal, so I will go over this. It's assault and pistol and sustained hits 1. Strength 4, AP 1, damage 1. 6 shots, hitting on 2s. Then he's got his plasma pistol, which is also assault. A sustained hits 1 as well. 3 shots, strength 8, AP 3, damage 2. So he just shoots a ton of shots, and then I think in combat, he literally shoots his gun in combat with the same exact profiles. So he's kind of funny, huh? Agent of Discord, each time your opponent targets a unit from their army with a stratagem, if that unit is within 12 inches of this model, increase the cost of that stratagem by 1. No. There should not be a range on this. Why is there a range on this? Guns blazing. Once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, when an enemy unit makes a ranged attack that targets a friendly Heretic Astartes unit within 3 inches of this model, after that enemy unit has shot, this model can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but it must target only that enemy unit, and in doing so, it can only target them if they're eligible. Okay. Fabius Bile, I want to say that you are 80 points. He's 85, actually. Okay. So Fabius Bile, T4, you know, he's a Space Marine with 5 wounds, basically. So that's what he's got. He's got these Surgeons as well. They have 1 wound with a 6-up save. Otherwise the same. So move 6, T4, 1 wound, leadership 7 actually on them, and OC 1. He's got his little pistol thing. It's 3-shot thing. He's got his combat stuff. His guys have their combat stuff. He's cool, I guess. Let's just see what he does, though. He's got Feel No Pain 5+, and he is a leader. So Enhanced Warriors, if he's attached to a unit at the start of the battle until the end of the battle, add 1 of the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by the bodyguard models in that unit and add 1 of the toughness characteristic of them. So you can be attached to Accursed Cultists, Chosen, and Cultist mobs and Legionaries. Surge and Acolyte once per turn when an attack is allocated to a model in this unit. If this unit contains Fabius Bile, you can change the damage characteristic to 0. And the first time Fabius Bile is destroyed, roll a d6 on a 2+, set it back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of any enemy models, with its full wounds remaining. If this model was attached to a unit when it was destroyed, it must set up attached to that unit. I was just about to ask. So, nothing cool on him. In fact, looking at Cypher's keywords, he doesn't even have grenades either. Neither does Fabius Bile. Pretty interesting, though. You can put this guy with Accursed Cultists. They're then toughness 5, right? Add one of the strength characteristic of melee weapons, and add one of the toughness characteristic of the model. Yeah. So toughness 5 Accursed Cultists can be funny. Toughness 5 Chosen, okay, fine. Legionaries, I think Accursed Cultists is actually the funniest thing, because they become +1 strength, so they're strength 6 with all those, the weapons that the whatever guys have, the torments. A Chaos Lord, he's 90 points. He moves 6, T4, 3 up, 4 up, 5 wounds, leadership 6, and OC 1. He's equipped with a plasma pistol and a demon hammer. So this demon hammer is hilarious. You guys probably know what it is, but it's strength 8 AP 2, damage 2 with dev wounds, hits on 3s with 5 attacks. The thing that's great about this guy is because of his chance for glory. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, he can use this ability. If it does until the end of the phase, improve the attacks, strength, and armor penetration and damage. So all of its stats by 1. So it becomes strength 6 attacks, strength 9, AP 3, damage 3 with dev wounds. He can attach to Legionaries, so he can then get rerolls to wound, which is pretty cool with a dev wound weapon that's 3 damage apiece. His plasma pistol can be a power fist, which you might actually want to do that sometimes. Otherwise, his demon hammer can be replaced with some other weapon that you're not going to actually do that to. Take the demon hammer. Demon hammers are great. He does have grenades, thankfully. 90 points for Mr. Chaos Lord. Good in a lot of the detachments that we saw, just because a lot of them really want Chaos Lord. Some of their enhancements were specifically for Chaos Lords in some of them. So Chaos Lords are where it is at. 90 points for this beat stick. I like it. I like this ability a lot. Alright, so the Terminator Lord, I think, is 95. He's basically the same in no way, actually. He moves 5, T5, 2 up, 4 up, 6 wounds, leadership 6, and OC 1. The other ability the Chaos Lords always have, I didn't even go over it, is that they can target units with a stratagem for 0 CP. They can be targeted for 0 CP. It's one of their free strat abilities in the Codex. Your Chaos Lord and Terminator armor has that, and he also has each time an attack is allocated to have the damage. So, kind of a generic ability there. You can take combi bolters, combi weapons, chain fists, exalted weapons, all these different weapons here. For 95 points, though, is he really going to get it done with his abilities here? I don't think you're going to see Chaos Lords and Terminator armor very often. Maybe with some kind of cool enhancement or something once in a while. But otherwise, you're not going to see 3 of them like you might with Chaos Lords. The Jump Pack guy is new. Chaos Lord and Jump Pack is also 90, so these are the same. He also can target things with strats for free. And then if he's leading a unit, each time they pile in or consolidate, they can move 6 instead of 3. So the fact that it allows you to pile in or consolidate up to 3 is much better than just being able to consolidate up to 3, because you can get it much closer that way. And some cool things you can do on these guys, like being able to steal this ability, although you can't take Thunder Hammers or Demon Hammers in this case on this guy. He can take Plasma Pistol, Power Fist, or Twin Lightning Claws. He's definitely got some utility. He does have grenades as well. So pretty cool, and these 2 Chaos Lords are nice. Having the fast one, he's pretty cool. You can attach to Raptors. This guy can only attach to Legionaries, and this guy can only attach to Terminators, as you would expect there. So let's move on. Keep going. Let's keep trucking. Huron Blackheart is a cool 85 points for movement of 6, T4, 3 up, 4 up, 5 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. So a very basic Chaos Lord stat line there. Tyrant's Claw is a flamer, strength 6 flamer, AP 1, damage 1. And then he's got some exalted weapons, which is 6 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, damage 2, or his Tyrant Claws, that's 10 attacks, it's strength 4, AP 2, damage 1. It's not extra attacks though, so he has to pick one to swing with. He can attach to Chosen and Legionnaires. Does not have grenades. He has the Tyrant of Badad. While he's leading a unit, you add one to the objective control characteristic. That's not bad. Red Corsairs, after both players have deployed their army, select up to 3 Heretic Astartes infantry units from your army and redeploy them. When doing so you can set up in reserve if you want to. Hamandra's Knowledge. Once per battle, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of this model's unit. If this model's unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can move up to D6. So, reactive move, pretty sweet there. Here on Blackheart, for 80 points, just being able to reactive move. This doesn't trigger at a time when it's super useful, because you don't know who's going first yet. He ain't bad for 80 points, but he's definitely not some sort of auto take. Sorcerers are 60 points. They're cheap as hell. They move 6, T4, 3 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, OC1, so notably no invuln there. They have some Infernal Gaze thing. It's the same thing that a Cypher has from Space Marines. It's strength 6, AP2, D3 damage if you overcharge it with D6 shots, dev wounds. Melee weapons, he's got his forced weapon thing. It's the same as Marines, hits on 3s. It's cool. He can attach to Chosen and Legionnaires. He has Prescience. While he's leading a unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll, from being hit. So that's shooting and combat. Gift of Chaos. Each time this model is selected to shoot or fight, after resolving its attack, select one enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks that had a psychic ability. So you basically have to shoot this thing at them. They take a leadership test. If they fail, they take D3 mortal wounds. So he just does a little bit of extra damage if you take damage from this thing. Not even take damage, but just like got hit by it. The regular Sorcerer is 60. This guy is 90, the Sorcerer in Terminator armor. He's 50% more expensive. So moves 5, T5, 2 up, 4 up. He's got a 5 wounds and leadership 6, OC1. He can take some combi bolters or combi weapons. He also has that Infernal Gaze that we just saw over here. It's exactly the same. And he's got a force weapon, which is also exactly the same in combat. He can attach to Terminator squads only, as you'd expect. Does not have grenades. He's just got the Infernal Gaze and his force weapon. He has warp time though. While he's leading a unit, you can reroll advance and charge rolls made for that unit. Man, what a fall from grace for warp time. Okay. And then he has Death Hacks. At the start of your shooting phase, one Cypher from your army with this ability can use it. If it does, select one enemy unit within 12 invisible to the Cypher and then roll a d6. On a 1, you suffer d3 mortal wounds. On a 2+, select the Cypher suffers d3. On a 2 up, until the start of your next movement phase, each time an attack targets the enemy unit, improve the armor penetration of the attack by 1. That's pretty good. Pick an enemy unit and they just get +1 AP against them. That is great. And that's shooting in combat that he does that. Great. Lord Discordant, 90 points. This is not worth 90 points, and I'll tell you why, because it's just not. We'll go over what he has. Movement of 10, T9, 2 up, 5 up, 10 wounds, leadership 6, OC of 4. So compared to Vashtorr, he's slower, he's weaker, he has a worse invuln, he has less wounds, he probably has the same leadership, and he's got the same OC, I think. But yeah, he's not nearly as durable as Vashtorr for the same amount of points. He can take a Bale Flamer or a Hellstalker autocannon, and I think you can also take Magma Cutters. So let's just see. His autocannon can be a Flamer, so you do that. His Techno-Virus Injector can be the Magma Cutter. The Techno-Virus Injector is an extra attack with Anti-Vehicle 2+, with only 1 attack that does 2 damage. So yeah, you're going to take that instead, I think. The Magma Cutter, 2 Melta shots within 6. His combat is just not great. 4 attacks, strength 6, AP1, 2 damage. That's the bladed limbs. He's got his Chain Glaive, 4 attacks, strength 6, AP2, 2 damage. Hits on 2s with that. That one's better. Just overall, he's just not putting out a whole lot of damage. He has Corrupt Machine Spirits. Once per turn at the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select an enemy vehicle within 12 and visible to 1 or more of the models from your army with this ability. That unit takes a leadership test. If passed, until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. If you fail, it's not eligible to shoot this phase. There's some cool things you could do here, especially with like Dread Talons. Get up real close to something, it's -1 to its leadership test, so now it battle shocks itself, and now you're, right? Yeah, you're within 12 of it, so the leadership test is -1. So you take the battle shock test, or whatever in this case, and now you can't shoot. Leadership test, and you can't shoot. Then you have Spirit Thief. At the start of your shooting phase, select an enemy vehicle within 12 inches of this model. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly heretic Astartes model makes an attack, targets them, reroll wound roll of 1. So he gives out rerolls in your shooting phase to an enemy vehicle, but it's got to be within 12 inches. And the problem with this one is that this is in your opponent's shooting phase. So this is after they've moved. So they could try to get away from this aura and just not even have to worry about not being able to shoot. 190 points for this fucking thing. Yeah, no. Master of Possession is 70 points. He's real fast though. He moves at 8, T4, 3 up, 5 up, 4 wounds, leadership 6, OC1. He's got some crazy psychic power thing here. It's Anti-Psyker 2+, it's a pistol, precision, and psychic. If you overcharge it, it obviously becomes hazardous as always. 18-inch range, 2 shots, strength 6, AP3, damage 3. So pretty cool, good gun type thing there. that is precision. Staff of Possession, anti-psycho 2-up, basically just a force weapon. So it's strength 6 AP 1 and D3 damage instead of AP 2 and flat 2. He can be attached to Chosen, Legionaries, and Possessed. So the Possessed is really what you care about there, I think. He doesn't have grenades. While he's leading a unit, you add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for that unit, so they're real fast, moving 8 inches. And then Sacrificial Dagger, once per phase. When this model is selected to shoot or fight, it can use this ability. If it does, this model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and until the end of the phase, each time this model makes a psychic attack, add 1 to the hit roll and add 1 to the wound roll. That's pretty funny. So, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, AP3, 3 damage flat with precision against your character that's in the unit. If you can get that precision off, which is pretty damn hard, I will admit. But if you can, that's pretty funny. In combat as well, he's kind of funny to get +1 to hit and wound. 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. Alright, so the Master of Executions is 80 points. Move 6, T4, 3-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, OC1. He has this Axe of Dismemberment. He does have a bolt pistol as well. His axe is 5 attacks, weapon skill 2, strength 7, AP 2, damage 2, but dev wounds and precision. Interestingly, you can attach this model 2 units, even if they have a character that's already attached. You just can't have 2 Master of Executions. So he can attach to Chosen and Legionaries. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack that targets a unit below its starting strength, you can reroll the hit roll. If it's below half strength, you can reroll the wound roll as well. He doesn't really need this because if he's with Legionaries, then he's already going to be rerolling wounds. But getting rerolls is just good either way. So yeah, that, and then each time this model destroys an enemy character, you gain 1 CP. In combat, this guy can just go up to a unit, slam it in the face, reroll wounds with dev wounds and precision, and just kill it. Because it's 2 damage apiece. And then he's just going to get a whole bunch of other wounds on that thing. And he just goes chop, 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 chop. Just killed your character. Kind of expensive, but you put him with some Legionaries, charge him in there, he'll do a whole ton of damage. He'll do most of the damage. And then you'll have a dead unit. And then you'll just have to deal with your Master of Executions at that point. Okay, so next is our Demon Prince. He is 165 without wings. He moves 8, he's toughness 10, 2-up, 4-up, 10 wounds, leadership 6, OC3. So pretty beefy. 165, he's kind of expensive for 165 compared to Vashtorr. He's got an Infernal Cannon. It's a heavy bolter, except it doesn't have sustained hits and it's only a 24-inch range. His Hellforged Sword, so it's strength 8 AP 2, 3 damage, or it sweeps for 14 attacks that are awful. He has to pick one of these demonic allegiances. So if you're Khorne, 2 to your strength of your Hellforged weapon, so you become strength 10 in combat. Tzeentch, you add 3 to the attacks of your Infernal Cannon. Nurgle, you become toughness 11. Slaanesh, you become 10-inch move. His keywords are not important. I mean, demon, but he does explode somehow. He has Dark Blessing, while a Heretic Astartes infantry is within 6. Each time ranged attacks allocated, they have cover. So he gives out cover. Pretty cool. So Send Demon, each time he shoots or fights, when resolving those attacks, you can reroll 1 hit roll, and you can reroll 1 wound roll. He's got his Infernal Cannon, his thingy-majig here. Cool. So the Demon Prince with wings. He is 180 points. He moves 12, so he's faster. He could be way faster, but he moves 12. He's T9, so not as tough. 2-up, 4-up, 10 wounds, leadership 6, OC3. So otherwise, a little bit different here, but generally the same. Same weapons, same exact stuff here with his demonic allegiance. His abilities are different though. He also has Deep Strike. Each time this model ends a charge move, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of it and roll a d6 for each of this model's wounds remaining. For each 4+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6. So he charges in with 10 wounds, does 5 mortal wounds to you on a charge in. That's pretty hilarious. And then each time this model ends a normal advance or advance move, select 1 enemy unit moved over during that move, they take a battle shock. That's interesting, because a lot of the times these abilities don't include advance moves, and this one happens to. So he can move d6 plus 14 if he wanted to, fly over something, possibly be in a detachment where he's allowed to then charge. Pretty interesting. 180 points for this guy. I like him because of his impact mortal wounds. Alright, let's go on to the Smith of the Warp. He's a move of 6, T4, 2-up, save, no invuln, 4 wounds, leadership 6, and OC1. He's got a Flamer Tendril. It's a pistol with torrent and ignores cover. It's a strength 3 Flamer. He's got his Melta Tendril. It's a melt-a-gun pistol thing. It is literally an Inferno pistol in all ways. And then he's got a Plasma pistol, maybe. So what does he actually come equipped with? Flamer Tendril, Melta thing. Yeah, he's got all of them. Okay. He can be attached to Chosen or Chaos Legion, Havocs or Legionaries. And then he's got his Forge weapon. It's anti-vehicle 4+, 4 attacks in combat. Interesting, okay. So it's basically a Grey Knight sword that's anti-vehicle 4+. Sweet. While he's within 3 inches of a vehicle, he's a lone op. Yep. In your command phase, select one friendly vehicle within 3. It regains D3 lost wounds, and you add 1 to the hit roll. Okay. At the end of your movement phase, select an enemy vehicle within 12 inches. Take a battle shock test. He does have grenades. Interesting. I don't see any grenades on him. He must have it up his ass. He's a 70-point guy. Yeah, makes sense. He's the same as like a Tech Marine, right? Tech Marines might be a little cheaper. All right, so the Dark Apostle here, he is 75 points. He's got 2 dudes with him. They all move 6 and they're all T4. The Apostle has a 3-up save. The dudes have a 6-up. Apostle has 4 wounds. The dudes have 1. Apostle's leadership 5. Dudes are leadership 7. They're all OC1. They all have a 4-up invuln. They can be attached to Accursed Cultists, Chosen, Cultist Mobs, and Legionaries. So, they have grenades, which is cool, at least on the... They all of them actually have grenades. I was about to say, the character doesn't, but... Dark Apostle is a character, but they all have grenades. While they're leading a unit, and it contains a Dark Apostle, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the wound roll. Pretty good. Being able to attach to Accursed Cultists, that makes them pretty good. Now, also with Legionaries, +1 to hit, or +1 to wound and reroll wounds, that can become pretty interesting as well. Demonagogue. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Heretic Astartes unit that is battle shocked, and within 12 inches, it's no longer battle shocked, and then Malign Sacrifice. At the start of the fight phase, if this unit contains one or more Dark Apostle models, Dark Discipline models, you can select one of those models and one enemy unit that is within engagement range of this unit. Roll a d6. On a 2 to 5, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. The Dark Discipline model is then destroyed. Okay, so we can just throw dudes at you and do mortal wounds. +1 to wound for all these is good, except for maybe cultist mobs, but just because you don't want to be getting them into combat typically, even though they did change and they're all combat based now. I don't see it there. I see it on either the Accursed Cultists, the Chosen, or the Legionaries. Let's move on to the Traitor Enforcer, who is 65 points. He has an Ogren with him, right? Yeah, so the Traitor Enforcer and the Ogren. The Enforcer and the Ogren both move 6. The Enforcer is toughness 3, the Ogren is toughness 6. They both have a 5-up save, and only the Traitor Enforcer has a 5-up invuln. The Enforcer has 3 wounds, the Bodyguard has 4. The Enforcer is leadership 6, the Bodyguard is 7. They're both OC1. They have Ogren weapons and Power Fists, whatever. They can be attached to Guardsmen. They have Brutal Example. Once per turn, while this model is leading a unit and it contains a Traitor Enforcer, you can target that unit with a Fire Overwatch stratagem for 0 CP. Traitor Guardsman Squad. Jesus Christ. No. I mean, it's cool that you can do it, but, like, why is that the ability here? Mutated Bodyguard. While it contains a Traitor Ogren, the character models in the unit have a Field of Pain 4+, so against precision if it matters. Otherwise, let's go to the Dark Commune, because you're never going to see the Traitor Enforcer on the table. The Dark Commune is 65 points. There's a whole bunch of dudes in this unit as well. You have a Cult Demagogue, a Mind Witch, an Icon Ward, and 2 Blessed Blades. The Demagogue boy is the guy who's like the actual character in the unit, I'm pretty sure. They move 6, they're T3, they have 6-up saves. The Demagogue has 4 wounds, everyone else has 1. The Demagogue is leadership 6, everyone else is 7, and then they're all OC1. For combat, they've got some interesting stuff. I think the Commune Blade and the Commune Stave are really what you're looking for. Who has what? So the Commune Stave is on the Demagogue. So the Commune Stave is 2 attacks, D3 damage apiece with no AP. They have wounds though. The Blessed Blades, which is 2 of them, they have Commune Blades. So those are these strength 4 AP2 1 damage things. While they're leading a unit, and it contains a Cult Demagogue, models in that unit have a 5+ invuln. Once per battle in your command phase, they can, if it contains a Demagogue, they can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the turn, they can declare a charge in a turn in which they advanced, and each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you add 1 to the hit roll and you add 1 to the wound roll. If you take an Icon, which you're going to do, you can re-roll your leadership test whenever you take a Dark Pact. So for 65 points, these go with your Accursed Cultists. They just run up there, and they just advance a charge, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Sometimes you can give them Scout, give these guys Scout, so they can all scout up and do stuff, or you can return guys to units with some other enhancements. Pretty sweet. So hopefully we're done with the characters at this point, because I'm done with the characters, although we're definitely not, because I know that there's one we haven't talked about yet. Okay, which is this dude. But we're up to Legionaries somehow. That's odd that he's not in the character section, isn't it? But Legionaries are going to be our next one here. So these guys are a Marine profile, like as you'd expect, in every way possible. They're T4, 3-up save, 2 wounds, leadership 6, OC2. They're a battle line unit, they have grenades. This is what they get. Each time a model in this unit targets an enemy unit with a melee attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If you're within range of an objective marker, you can reroll the wound roll instead. You can take an icon so that you can reroll your dark packs, and you can take 5 to 10 dudes. And they all have bolt pistols, bolt guns, close combat weapons. So what's important here is their options. The champion can take a heavy melee weapon. Somebody else can take a heavy melee weapon. Any number of dudes can take chainswords. One dude can have a heavy melee weapon. So you got a bunch of heavy melee weapons in here. For every 5 models in the unit, one dude can have a heavy weapon. So like an autocannon, a Reaper chain cannon, las cannon, something like that. And so this is actually both for the aspiring champion. So you got one heavy melee weapon you can swing with there. You got another one here, bunch of chain swords, and then probably one of these because you can. So you probably take a Reaper chain cannon or a las cannon. Put them in 2 units of 5 in a Rhino, maybe with characters attached even, like with Chaos Lords just for reroll wounds, or the choppy dude who chops your characters, the executioner guy. Have them in there. They can shoot out with their las cannons or their chain cannons. They can get lethals or sustained still from the Rhino. So that's pretty cool. They can get out and then charge, throw grenades, do cool stuff. Legionaries are 80 points. They're super duper good. And with the new stuff that's coming out with battle line based missions and stuff, these are going to be amazing. And you're probably going to want, I'm thinking like 2 Rhinos with 2 units inside of each. So 4 total of Legionaries is what I would probably run if I was going to play Chaos. I'm thinking probably have some characters attached, maybe even go spicy and do 2. Probably not though, but something with 4 squads of Legionaries is probably what I'd end up going with in Rhinos. Firebrand is the new character guy. This is like the only new model that you got. He's a pile of shit. He's 45 points. He has grenades, so there's that. He's T4, got a 4-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, OC1, moves 6. He's got a heavy flamer that's D6 plus 3 shots. He's got Fiery Faith. He can reroll leadership test taken for a model or for a unit that he's leading. And then he's got Cursed Flames. He basically makes an infantry unit take a battle shock test that he shoots at after he shoots. That's what this stupid character that you can take does. So, doesn't have a whole lot of utility. He is very cheap though for 45 points. Maybe you take one, just throw him in the backfield or something. I don't know. I'm gonna give him the lone op thingy, the lone op enhancement. I don't even know if you can take it on a Firebrand. But that's what you get. That's what you get for your Firebrand. You then have your cultists. They don't have scout like they do in other codexes, but they have it at the end of your command phase. If they're within range of an objective marker, it remains under your control. So they have sticky objectives. They only have like combat weapons now. They don't have a bunch of auto guns that they can take, and they're a cultist unit. So they're moving 6 or T3. They have a 6-up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, OC1. They have grenades, which is sweet. They are damned as well, and so is this guy. He's damned. So the Firebrand is damned. So your cultists are 50 points, or 100 if you take 20. Accursed Cultists went down significantly. They are 170 points now. Their profile is the same as far as I can recall. Tormentor 3 wounds with T4 everywhere, moving 6. They gained a Scout 6-inch, which is hilarious. That's awesome. Being able to regen dudes in the unit was definitely better, but Feel No Pain 6+, Scout 6 inches, Dark Pact, it's cool. Still got your hideous mutations. They didn't change. They don't have grenades, but they are damned. You take 6 Torments, 10 Mutants. That's just what you do. They have Howling Horde. Each time an enemy unit has shot, if 1 or more models from this unit were destroyed as a result of those attacks, this unit can make a Horde move. To do so, roll D6. It can be moved that number of inches up to the result, but it must finish this move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. When doing so, those models can be moved within engagement range of that enemy unit. So you can move within engagement range. A unit cannot move if it's battle shocked. Fine. Interesting that it's got that restriction there, because a lot of your abilities like this don't have that restriction, as far as I can remember. So they went from regenning models in each person's command phase to getting this ability, which is still very good. Possessed, are they damned? They're not damned. Interesting. That's surprising. Is that surprising to anybody else? They are just demons and possessed, so they do still move really fast at 9 with a T6. I thought they were T5. T6, 3-up, 5-up with 3 wounds. Three wounds, yeah, Leadership 6 OC1. Hideous Mutations, basically it's just 4 attacks with your profile here, so Strength 5 AP1, damage 2. Once per battle, so this changed to once per battle instead of anytime you, I think it was like anytime you made a Dark Pact. You gain Devastating Wounds. It's only once per battle now. Once per battle, when this unit makes a Dark Pact until the end of the phase, they gain Devastating Wounds. They can take an icon, you take 10 guys in a unit or 5. They're 250 points for 10, so they're 25 points of model. I'm not sure how I feel about Possessed now with not having Devastating Wounds all the time, because that seemed really good. They did come down in points though, but not enough, I don't think. They're 250 for a unit of 10, maybe. I mean, they're T6 with 3 wounds. They do have a 5-up invuln. They hit pretty hard, I guess, against certain targets, just not against all targets. Dev Wounds is nice. They're probably still worth their points, if I were to argue that, just because of their profile. I mean, they're fast, they're tough, they hit relatively hard, so probably still worth taking. +1 to your advance and charge rolls, I think. +1 to your rolls with your the Master of Possession. He gives them some stuff. Traitor Guardsmen are 70 points. Twisted Defense Force. While this unit is within range of an objective marker, each time a ranged attack targets this unit, they have the benefit of cover. What a throwaway ability that they just put no thought into whatsoever. Up to 3 Traitor Guardsmen can have their las guns replaced with meltaguns, plasma guns, stuff like that. They can all take the same ones too. Never mind, it says duplicates are not allowed, so you can't take the same at all. The Traitor Sergeant guy can take a power weapon, and his pistol can be a bolt gun. Interesting. They have grenades as well, so that's a thing. But they just don't have scout. They don't have anything interesting going on. They're more expensive than regular guardsmen. They're the same profile as regular guardsmen, so they always have cover. Like, no. Fellgor Beastmen, 85 fucking points for these awful, garbage, terrible things. They're just bad in every possible way. So they have auto pistols and close combat weapons, and this dude's got a bolt gun or a bolt pistol and a chain sword. He can replace that with a plasma pistol. He can replace his close combat weapon with a great weapon, like one guy. And then you could also take a corrupted stave. Like, I just don't care. These never do anything. Look at this. You're telling me like you're gonna take this great weapon? It hits on 5s, dude. No. They have a devastating wound psychic weapon. I don't care. Vashtorr Raiders. If this unit starts the game in strategic reserve, it can be set up in the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase, regardless of any mission rules. If this unit is set up in strategic reserves, you know what, I don't care. You can take units of 10, they have grenades. Terminator squads. Movement of 5. Toughness of 5, same profile as you'd expect from a Terminator. 2 up, 4 up, 3 wounds. Leadership 6, OC1. They have Deep Strike. Each time they make a Dark Pact until the end of the phase, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. So suddenly they go from, okay, so they have a ton of weapons here that they can take. The combi weapon is pretty good. It hits on 4s, but if you're within half range, it's going to be 2 shots with dev wounds. Rerolling all your hits and getting sustained or something. So that's actually going to put out some damage there. You can do, if you're a unit of 10 guys, that's 20 shots. That's going to be 15 hits, which is about 7 dev wounds. If you're calculating in the sustained, that's an extra 3 hits, so an extra 1.5-ish. So you're more looking at like 9 dev wounds. So otherwise, their weapons are the same. They didn't change as far as I can tell. For every 5 dudes, you can take a flamer or an autocannon. Any number of dudes can take the combi weapon. For every 5, you can take a pair of accursed weapons. For every 5, up to 3 can be equipped with a power fist instead of accursed weapons. And so this one is like paired accursed weapons specifically. So you basically get lightning claws. And then for every 5, one dude's accursed weapons can be a chain fist. So a whole bunch of options there. 370 points for Terminators. Don't have grenades, slow. I just don't like Terminators that much in this edition. I like their durability, but I don't like their damage output. It doesn't seem like they usually have enough. Although these might be good because they can get lethals or sustained. My buddy who plays Chaos, he loves his Terminators, at least he used to before this Codex came out, would have Abaddon with them, and they would do a whole ton of damage with lethals and sustained, everything else, hitting on, critting on 5s, doing all kinds of stuff. They would murder things. But in a unit like that, it just doesn't seem worth it, the points a lot of the times. So for their damage output, they're not great, but for their durability, I do like them, especially with a lot of these attachments having Armor of Contempt now. They can be pretty durable, and it doesn't cost you 2 CP anymore. Chosen. 125 or 250, depending on how many you take, either 5 or 10. They all have bolt guns, bolt pistols, and accursed weapons, so they all have a power weapon with 4 attacks, strength 5, AP2, damage 1. It's not bad. For every 5 models in the unit, 2 can have their bolt pistols replaced with a plasma pistol. For every 5, 2 models can have their bolt guns replaced with combi weapons. I don't know why you do that. For every 5, 1 bolt gun and accursed weapon can be replaced with 1 paired accursed weapon. So your paired accursed weapons are 5 attacks with twin linked at the same profile. For every 5 models in the unit, it can have its accursed weapon replaced with a power fist. You know, why don't they just call them all heavy melee weapons? Because they have the same profile, basically. But your power fist, you're going to want to do that for every 5 models. Take 1. Take your chaos icon for rerolls on your dark pact. They're 3 wounds apiece, so they're move 6, T4, 3 up save, 3 wounds. Leadership 6, OC 1. They're eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which they advanced or fell back. So they're annoying. They have grenades. They can move through walls because they're infantry. They're pretty durable and pretty cheap. 3 wounds makes them a little annoying to get through. They don't have an invuln though, so that's kind of meh, but if you put Abaddon with them, you give them 4 up invuln that way, and everything else within 6 inches. They've got some play for sure. They're not very expensive for what they do. They're pretty damn fast. They can just jump out of rhinos, advance, so you move, 3 inches out, no more than 3. You have to be wholly within 3, but that's 3 inches from where the rhino is. You then move 6 plus another 1 or more, so you've moved 7, and then you can still charge. It's at minimum a 10-inch move from where you're starting. It's pretty good. Chaos Bikers. They are 70 points. They are 12-inch move, toughness 5, 3 up save, 3 wounds. Leadership 6, OC 2, interestingly. They have a different ability than they had before. They can jump off the table in the index. Now, if they charge, they just get +1 strength. They can take an icon. You take 3 to 5. They all have pistols, combi bolters, and close combat weapons. So, not the hardest hitting unit here, but pretty good for harassing stuff. They can get lethals or sustained with dark packs. The champion's bolt pistol can be a power fist or something else, and a number of Chaos Bikers can have their bolt pistols replaced with chain swords. I think you probably take 1. Having at least 1 pistol in the unit is good because it allows you to do actions in combat. But up to 2 Chaos Bikers can replace their combi bolters with a combi weapon, or with a weapon from the following list. A flamer, melting gun, plasma gun, you can take an icon. Anybody can take it. 70 points for Chaos Bikers. They do have grenades, they're pretty fast. It's annoying that they can't jump off the table, so the utility goes down significantly there. But they're 70 points. They're less than 25 points a model. They're less points than a Chosen per guy. They're faster, and they can take some special weapons, which is cool. Getting lethals on some melted guns might be cool. And then charging into combat with a power fist. Your power fist is going to have 3 attacks. It'll be strength 9. Sustained hits or something. Chaos Bikers, what are you going to do? You're going to take them still, probably. Raptors. Raptors are also great. They're 85 or 170 for 5 or 10. You can take up to 4 melted guns in the unit, which is why these guys are good. Or plasma guns or flamers or whatever. 4 special weapons. They have deep strikes. They can just come down and shoot you. While an enemy unit is within 6 of this unit, each time they take a battle shock test or a leadership test, you subtract 1 from the result. Interestingly, if you have these in your Dread Talons detachment and they're within 6 inches of stuff, you're going to be -2 to your test. So you'll basically fail that most of the time. Terrifying Assault. At the start of the fight phase, each time a unit within engagement range of one or more units with this ability must take a battle shock test. Okay. The Raptor Champion's bolt pistol can be a plasma pistol. The Raptor Champion's chain sword can be replaced with accursed weapons or power fists. For every 5 models in the unit, up to 2 can have their bolt pistol replaced with a plasma pistol, or they can have their bolt pistol and Astartes chain sword replaced with one of the following: flamer, melting gun, plasma gun, and then close combat weapon. They don't have grenades, unfortunately. Warp Talons, dumbest unit in the index here. Let's go. 12-inch move, T4, 3 up save, 5 up invuln, 2 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. They have Warp Claws. They're twin linked. That's 4 attacks, a strength 5, AP2, damage 1. They have Deep Strike, they have Dark Packs, and then they have Warp Strike. At the end of the fight phase, that's either player's turn. If this unit was eligible to fight this phase and is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can remove this unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserve. This is bullshit. This is complete nonsense in every possible way. Because what this means is you charge into combat, you do things in a way where you kill little skirmish units, and then this thing just jumps off the table, and there's nothing you can do about it, because you can rapid ingress them back next turn, and then just move them 12, charge something else, kill it, jump away. You can take 10 of these in a squad. if you're taking Renegade Raiders, they have a stratagem that allows these dudes to fall back, so they were able to fight, because they did. They fall back, and then they jump up. They also get +1 AP in Renegade Raiders if you're targeting something that's on an objective. There's a lot of weird things you can do with combat, and I really need to make tips and trick videos to show you guys all these things, but, you know, full-time job and all, it makes that difficult. So what you can do with these is you can charge them in a way where you only kill a specific number of models, you don't pile in, so that the enemy unit is no longer within engagement range and can't do anything, and then you just pop back up. You can try to get like precision on them with characters or something like that, but that's really, really difficult to do. I think what you would most likely do is just charge in a way where you can only kill a certain number of guys, and then be able to jump out of combat that way if you can't kill the entire unit, or just take them in Renegade Raiders where you can just fall back and then jump back into the sky anyway. Super duper dumb unit. These things are going to be the bane of a lot of armies, like with Eldar and stuff. They're just going to come down, they're going to mince through their units, and they're going to just go back up into the sky, and you're not going to be able to interact with them. Warp Talons are crazy good. They're 110 points. They don't have grenades, but they are a demon. Infantry fly. Yeah, Warp Talons are crazy. You want to take 3 units of them, probably in every list. If not, 2 units of 5, maybe a unit of 10, and 2 units of 5. In like literally every list. So this is how you're gonna want to build your lists. Warp Talons, 3 units of 5. Let's just say 3 units of 5. And then 4 units of Legionaries in Rhinos. So 75 and 75 is 150. 4 units of Legionaries, that's going to be 320. This is gonna be another 300 something points. So that's 600 something points, plus your Rhinos, you're looking at like 700 points. That's the basis of most things. And Warp Talons and Raptors are also very good for just doing secondaries because they have Deep Strike. They're a little expensive for those kinds of units, but hey, seems pretty good no matter what you're doing with them. Chaos Spawn are 70 points for 2 of them. That's what you just get 2 of them. They have the same profile as a Torment from the Accursed Cultists. They have a Feel No Pain 5+. They move 8, T5, 4 up save, 4 wounds, Leadership 7, OC1. They have Mind-Breaking Mutations. While an enemy unit, excluding vehicles, is within 3 inches of this unit, subtract 1 from the objective control characteristic of that enemy unit. Sure. Little utility unit here. I think they used to come back to life or like regenerate or something. Not a huge fan of Chaos Spawn. Havocs, these are your Devastators. They're 120 points for the 5. They are toughness 5 Devastators that hit on 3s, because I don't think Devastators hit on 3s. They are slow though. They move 5, T5. 3 up save, 2 wounds, Leadership 6, OC1. These dudes can have a whole bunch of stuff here. So you have 2 that are equipped with las cannons, and 2 that are equipped with autocannons. The champion can take a Power Fist or an accursed weapon for his chainsword, and then the champion's flamer, because he has a flamer for some reason, can be replaced by either a meltagun, plasma gun, plasma pistol, something in this list here. Any number of Havocs can each have their Havoc autocannon or Havoc las cannon replaced with one of the following: autocannon, las cannon, chain cannon, anything. So you can just have 4 autocannons, 4 chain cannons, 4 whatever. Now the chain cannon is awesome looking. The chain cannon is also super duper good because it's just a ton of shots. 8 shots, man. So just 24 shots out of this unit with lethals or sustained. But las cannons also seem good. Pop 2 las cannons in a Rhino there and just shoot out of it. Seems good. 120 points is a little expensive, but that's because they all have a bunch of heavy weapons each. Your Hellbrute is 130 points. It's a move of 6, T9, 2 up save, 8 wounds, Leadership 6, OC3. Got a whole bunch of heavy weapons it can take here. It comes with a missile launcher and a multi-melta. Its multi-melta can be replaced with a plasma cannon, an autocannon, a Hellbrute Fist if you want. The missile launcher can be a Hellbrute Fist as well, so you're most likely going to take probably a multi-melta if you're trying to do damage to stuff, or maybe you're just looking to do something like get hits on stuff, depending on what this abilities here do. But either way, you're going to take 1 combat, 1 shooting, I think, and it'll either be the Hellbrute Fist or the Hellbrute Hammer. Yeah, you'll probably take the Hellbrute Hammer. Okay, so the Hellbrute Hammer is a thing you can take. Can also be equipped with one of the following if it's got a fist, the Combi Bolter, or the Flamer. While a Heretic starter's unit is within 6 inches, each time it makes a Dark Pact until the end of the phase, it gains both the abilities. So it's had that since its inception here in 10th edition. So you get lethals and sustained as long as you're within 6 inches of this guy. Pretty sweet, actually, because getting both of those is pretty good. Then, it is devoted to destruction if it's equipped with 2 melee weapons in addition to its close combat weapon. Yeah, due to the attacks characteristic of those 2 weapons. If you gave it a hammer and a fist, it would have 7 attacks with its hammer. Pretty hilarious, at least I think. I'm going to move on, though. It doesn't have any interesting keywords there. Neither do the Havocs. Obliterators. Moves of 4. Wow, they're super fast. They move 7, or they move 4. They're T7, excuse me. They got a 2-up, 5-up with 5 wounds, leadership 6, and OC of 2. So they're basically a Centurion type thing for Chaos. They have flesh metal guns. The only change here that really matters is that the Melta version here, the Melta 2, that went down to 18 inches. These all used to be 24. So D3 shots, strength 12, AP 3, and a flat 4 damage. So if you're within 9 now, it's a flat 6 damage. In combat, they have Power Fist, basically. 4 attacks at strength 9, AP 2, 2 damage, hitting on 3s. They Deep Strike, once per battle. When this unit makes a Dark Pact, it can use this ability. If it does until the end of the phase, the ranged weapons equipped by models in the unit have indirect fire. They're 170 points for 2 of them. So I just don't think they're quite... I just think they're too expensive for what they do, especially with this going down. I just think they're too expensive. I don't think they're durable enough for what you get. You're paying 170 points for 2 Obliterators. Like, if it was 150 points, I might run them in, or well, obviously I don't play Chaos, but I might run them. I'd put them in the list probably at that point, but not at 170. The Helldrake's 205. It's a flyer. It's got a Bale Flamer. It adds 1. All right, so each time this model makes an attack that targets a unit that can fly, you add 1 to the hit roll. If you give it the Flamer, it's going to auto hit. Otherwise, it's going to have 6 attacks with its fucking autocannon thing. In combat, it is anti-fly 2-up with dev wounds and 5 attacks and strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage. Nothing crazy there. Not really interesting. It's okay, 12 wounds at T9 with 3-up, 5-up. Kind of what you'd expect from a Helldrake in this edition. But for 205 points, there's just no way anybody's running this. Venom Crawler, people will run these. They're 110 points. They move 12, they're T9 with a 3-up, 5-up, and 9 wounds, leadership 6, and OC of 3. They have 2 of these Excruciator cannons, and then they have a Soul Flare thing, but 2 of these Excruciator cannons, they're a demon vehicle, so they're going to get +1 to their wound roll, basically. 6 attacks, strength 6, AP 2, 2 damage. AP 1, excuse me, 2 damage. It's got 2 of these things, so it's got 12 shots, and then in combat, it's got 6 attacks at the same exact profile, strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage. Soul Eater. At the end of the fight phase, if 1 or more attacks made by this model this phase destroyed 1 or more enemy units. Until the end of the phase, until the end of the battle, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the model weapons. That's shooting and combat. So these things are just funny. They just shoot a ton of guns for cheap, and they can get +1 to wound, they can get reroll wounds, Vashtorr will make them strength 7. It's funny. It's a funny thing, and going to strength 7 is super important because of toughness 12. You're wounding on 4s then, if you're +1 to wound. So these things can just put out a ton of shooting. Mauler Fiends, interesting as well. Move 10, T10 with a 5-up invuln and a 3-up save. 12 wounds. They're 130 points, so that's why I like them so much now. The Magma Cutters, it's 2 shots with a Melta gun. 6-inch range, but it is a true Melta gun. So Melta 2, so you got to be within 3 to get that, but strength 9, AP 4, D6 damage. In combat, the thing you're coming here for is those 6 attacks at strength 14, AP 2, and D6 +1 damage. I don't know if you really care about the Lasher Tendrils. I'd probably take 2 Magma Cutters personally. But 130 points, +2 attacks with the Soul Forged, Warp Bound, Pack Zealot, McBurger detachment. And these things also in that detachment have the ability to move through walls. So you take 2 of these things, I don't think you take 3, but I think you take 2 of these things, and you just burst them through wall, charge in there, 8 attacks with this. It's just so good, dude. It's just so good. For 130 points, I think these are great. Forge Fiend, 190 points, moves 8, toughness 10, 3-up, 5-up, 12 wounds, leadership 6, OC 3. It's got 3 of these Ectocab plasma cannons, I think. That's what you're going to take. There might be a spot for the Hades autocannon at some point, but the fact that they're 190 points is still disgusting. The plasma cannon's great, though. Strength 10, AP 3, 3 damage flat, D3 shots at 36. It can take 3 of them, and then it can give them dev wounds as well, which is why it's so expensive now, and for a couple of other reasons, like being able to make it untargetable and that sort of stuff, which otherwise was reined in, but there were other reasons why this went up in this edition, and now it's 190 points for these. But getting +1 to wound, getting rerolls to hit, they might be interesting. Vehicle Walker, so nothing crazy besides the fact that it's a Chaos Demon vehicle. So, alright, the Rhino, 75 points. It's a Rhino in every possible way. It regains a lost wound. It's got a firing deck 2. It can take 12 dudes. Can't transport Terminators. Jump pack Obliterators, or Possessed. Yeah, it's a fucking rhino. What do you want me to say? Moving on. It has smoke. Okay, the Land Raider, 240 points. Pretty good just by itself. Good to become a demon vehicle for sure, for the +1 to wound, potentially rerolls to hit, all kinds of cool stuff there. Moves 10, T12, 2-up save, 16 wounds, leadership 6, and OC 5. It's a shame they don't move 12 like my Redeemers, but hey. It's going to have 2 twin las cannon things, so 4 las cannon shots total. It can take Havoc launchers, combi weapons. It's got those 2 Soul Shatter las cannons. It's got a heavy bolter, can transport 12 dudes. It can transport Possessed and Terminators. It just can't transport Obliterators or Jump Packs. But it can transport Possessed and Terminators. They just take up the space of 2. The Predator Annihilator. These are 130 points. They did not change. They are T10, 11 wounds, moves 10, 3-up save, 3 OC, all that good stuff. They have a Predator las cannon, which is a single shot at strength 14, and then they got 2 side las cannons if you want, or you can make them heavy bolters. The thing that you take this for is its ability. Each time it makes a ranged attack that targets a monster or vehicle, you can reroll a damage roll of 1. Except that ability is fucking terrible, and these are garbage. So, take the Predator Destructor instead, which is also 130 points, same profile there. It has a better ability. Each time a ranged attack made by this model targets an infantry unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic of the attack by 1. Now it's autocannon against its ideal target at least. It's AP 2. Its heavy bolters are also AP 2. Pretty good. And if you're taking this with the Renegade Raiders, they become AP 3 if you're shooting an infantry unit. So that just starts to tear through stuff. Or AP 2 against non-infantry units. So that starts to tear through stuff. For 130 points, Chaos Vindicator, or Chaos Destructor. Awesome. Chaos Vindicator is 175 points. These are just... I don't like Vindicators that much. I've tried using them in the Marine detachment for Ironstorm, getting lethal hits on them, and possibly sustain. It just doesn't seem to... I know it sounds crazy, but with like Armor of Contempt and stuff, you just don't get enough through. You'll end up getting like 2 damage, like 2 of them through-ish, 2 or 3, and then they're D6 damage. Like, you won't even kill the vehicle you're shooting at sometimes, even with lethals and sustained. But with Renegade Raiders, giving them +1 AP, I think that's where they need to be. I think they need to be AP 4, then they start actually getting through on stuff. Because with these guys, similarly to my Ironstorm, they'll also have access to lethals and sustain just automatically from Dark Packs. So getting that on AP 4 with its Demolisher Cannon, I think that's really where it's at. Because then you really can start putting a lot of damage through on stuff. 175 points, they got a 2-up save, they are toughness 11, so they're a little tougher than a Predator. Yeah, these things are great. They have a Siege Cannon, they can shoot into combat. That's just what they all have. So they're allowed to shoot you if you're in combat with them. I'll actually read it. When making a ranged attack with its Demolisher Cannon, this model can target enemy units within engagement range of it, provided no friendly units are also within engagement range of that enemy unit. In addition, when making a ranged attack, this model does not suffer the penalty to its hit rolls for making attacks in combat. So, yeah, always hitting on 3s, and that's pretty sweet. Defiler, this is 190 points, moves 8, T10, 3-up, 5-up with 14 wounds, leadership 6, and OC of 5, so Land Raider OC. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. It's got a Defiler Cannon, Reaper Autocannon, Twin Heavy Flamer, Defiler Claws. It can move over terrain that's 4 inches or less in height as if it wasn't there. And then once per fight phase, one model from your army with this ability can be targeted with the counter-offensive stratagem for 0 CP. So that's the one where you fight before your opponent, like it's break-in. Pretty sure that's what that one is. So yeah, its Twin Heavy Flamer can be replaced with a Havoc Launcher or a Scourge. That's this thing here. So 3 attacks of strength, 12 AP 1, 2 damage. Okay. Its Autocannon can be replaced with a Las Cannon or Heavy Bolter, and then it can be equipped with a Combi Weapon or Combi Bolter. It is a Chaos Demon vehicle. So it could be +1 to wound, rerolling hits, all that kind of stuff. For combat it is really good though. 5 attacks, strength 16, AP 3, and D6 +1 damage. That will defile people pretty good. But it's just too expensive at 190 points. Not a huge fan of it. The Khorne Lord of Skulls. This thing, being +1 to wound and all that other stuff, rerolling hits, +1 strength from the Soul Forged thing. This is hilarious. It's 450 points, so it's the points of an Imperial Knight. It has more wounds than an Imperial Knight. It has a higher toughness than an Imperial Knight. And its OC is less, I think. But yeah, this thing's ridiculous. So, Gorestorm Cannon and Hades Gatling Cannon and the Great Cleaver of Khorne is what it has. Let's just go over the weapons. The Hades Gatling Cannon is this 12-shot, strength 8 AP 2 damage gun. Fuck that shit. Replace that with a Skull Hurler. It's 2d6 shots at strength 14, AP 3, and a flat 3 damage. And then, if you don't want this strength 10 weapon, which is actually not bad and has a higher range, this Gore Storm Cannon, you can take this Demon Gore Cannon instead, which is strength 14, AP 4, and d6 plus 2 damage at 18 inches. Plus 1 to wound this thing, reroll hits. Yeah, seems pretty good. Actually, you might even want the Gore Storm Cannon simply because the amount of shot this damage isn't spicy damage, though. I'm not sure which one you take on that. Let's just go over what it does, though. Deadly Demise d6 plus 2, so big bada boom. In the fight phase, after this model is finished making its attacks, if this model has destroyed one or more enemy units this phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches takes a Battle Shock test. Why do they give all of these big, giant models these stupid Battle Shock abilities? There are so many big things that have this ability, I don't understand. But that's what you get. Otherwise, it's super duper good because its guns are good, its Great Cleaver of Khorne is hilarious, strength 16 with 5 attacks and damage 8. Yeah. Bye-bye. Noctilith Crown is 125 points, but I think actually something you're going to take if you're playing the Soulforged Warp Backpack thing, because it gives you +1 to your leadership test. So now you're back to just taking your regular leadership tests on your vehicles, so you're not damaging yourself. It's also a model in your army, so it can block out deep strikers and that kind of stuff. It's got some guns, no one cares. I'm not going to go over this thing. It's a fortification. You can get cover near it because it's a fortification, but importantly, all your units within 9 inches get +1 to your leadership. I guess that's it, isn't it? Oh, wow, we're at the end, yeah. Okay, I guess I did kind of fly through that, huh? So, did I miss any important keywords on some of these last units here? Not really, because they're mostly just vehicles. Yeah. This is also pretty good in the Demon Pack thing, where you get +1 to wound and stuff, because then you're wounding everything on 2s, rerolling hits, because you can make this a demon vehicle. So having that in there is also really good. But yeah, I don't think that we missed anything too important. If I did miss any keywords or if I missed any important stuff there, let me know. This isn't a Tactica, so I'm not going to try to figure out any crazy combos in this. I'd be here for 5 hours trying to make a video, and nobody would actually watch that. So, I'm going to leave you guys with that. That is everything from the Chaos Space Marine Codex. I think there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot of really good combos. There's a lot of good detachments. The Soulbound detachment's really good. I still think Renegade Raiders might be better, just simply because Warp Talons. Dude, I could have a unit of 10 Warp Talons that you just can't do anything about the entire game, because I can charge you, fall back, jump up into the sky. I'm +1 AP with Warp Talons there. Like I said in the beginning when I talked about that detachment, you're gonna have to start putting important things on objectives when I kill all the other stuff. So you're gonna get that +1 AP, and you're always gaining assault on everything. So you're a fast army too. I think it's really good. +1 AP shooting in combat and assault, like that's super duper good. Really good strats there as well. They have access to Armor of Contempt. They have the fallback and shoot. I think they have like a reroll wounds thing. I'm not gonna look right this second, but the Deceptors are also super good, being able to just completely wall off your opponent turn 1. That can just win you the game, like regardless of what your list is a lot of the times. So that's super duper good. The Dread Talons are funny. They're really hard to play around because they're just going to battle shock you, and there's really nothing you can do about it. But they're just not good. They're just not good enough to actually win the game because you're just not going to have times when battle shock is really all that impactful. So there's a lot of really good stuff in here, and I'm excited to see. This is a pretty cool thing as well, the Chaos Cult. This is really good, I think, too. Still having this, I think there's just a lot of really good stuff in here. And it's going to take us a little while to kind of figure out exactly what the best one is. We're going to see different ones winning events, I'm sure, and then we're going to see other ones winning events later on. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's so much to go over, and there's so many different options. So, if you guys like this video, crap the like button. Hit Nurgle's bell icon, leave a comment down below, check out our other videos, and of course subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of our new videos. And with that, I'm gonna get out of here. I missed my prayer session to the Chaos Gods this morning, so I gotta get to that before I turn into a Demon Prince. And I'll see you guys in the next one.